are gonna get started. This is the first time I'm doing this without a script because I want this to come off the dome. I want to see how natural I feel telling a story. So here we go. Okay, so it's a well-known canon event that if you grew up with African immigrant parents in the western part of the world, one thing that they tend to do is threaten to send you back to your home country. Like, if you don't shape up, I will send you back to Nigeria or wherever you're from, right? And yeah, this is a canon event that also happened to me and my siblings. However, like, I guess the canon is that my older sibling and my younger sibling actually ended up going to Nigeria. And this is me telling that story. You're probably wondering, how is it that your older sibling and your younger sibling went to Nigeria, but you didn't go to Nigeria? I would eventually go, but like not because I wasn't like, I'll tell you about it later. But here we go, let's get started. You're probably wondering, so why are you telling this story? That's a great question. I have a significant point of view that is not known to a lot of other people in the story. And I just thought it'd be interesting to share like the story from my perspective. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. So I was in the 2nd grade and my older sibling was in the 6th grade. And at this point in time, we still went to the same school. It wouldn't be till much later that my school district would eventually take the 6th graders and put them in the middle school, take the 9th graders, put them in the high school. But either which way, we were going to the same school and it was parent-teacher conferences night. Now the thing is, parent-teacher conferences night was always very interesting for my older sibling. For me, it was pretty generic, you know, basic student development. For my older sibling, let's just say that teachers and faculty and schoolyard attendants always had something to say. They always had something to say. Whew. So to preface this, I have to explain the dynamic of 2 of my parents. So my first parent, which we will call parent A, is the more strict African parent. My second parent, which we will call parent B, was the more easygoing African parent. So remember that. Parent A is strict, parent B is easygoing. Let's do this. So parent B is at home with me and my older sibling and is talking to parent A, who is currently at work, and telling us that we're going to be going to conferences and that parent A should meet us at conferences. Okay, cool. We get into the car, we get to the school, and parent A meets up with us. Within our party, it was decided that parent B was going to be coming with me, so we were going to be going to my 2nd grade classroom, and parent A was going to be going with my older sibling to their 6th grade classroom. Cool. Everyone's cool. We go our separate ways. I'm with parent B, and my teacher gives, like I said, basic student development. I'm not that great at math. I love to read. I struggled with like quick math at one point in my life because like they'd be like, all right, it's time to do a timetable. Do as many math problems as you can in under a minute. And I would be so caught up on time that I'd start and do like 1 row and then I'd be like, I can't do anymore because I don't know how much time I have left. Oh, my candle dropped. But yeah, like I would be like, I don't know how much time I have left. I can't do any more problems because why are you doing this to me? But yeah, basic stuff like that. More just like, again, just, you know, basic student development. Cool. Hand a few forms, give a few papers, maybe work with her on this and that at home. Everything's Gucci gang for me. We reconvene with the other half of our party. And anyone who has African parents, especially the type of African parent I had, knows that when the stricter, more authoritarian, disciplinarian parent gets angry, there are 2 versions of their anger. They are either loud and obnoxious and just, you know, like just yelling, constantly yelling at you and just drilling it into your head. But then there's the 2nd version of them when they are angry. The quiet, the silent but deadly. And when I reconvened, when myself and parent B reconvened with parent A and my older sibling, it was the 2nd version. They were seething with anger. I remember, like at this point in time, I'm what, maybe 7 years old, 6-7 years old, if I remember correctly. All I know at this point in time is this parent, I'm already afraid of them. So we'll leave it at that. So I remember the drive home was the longest drive of my life. It took only like 5 to 7 minutes, 8 if there was traffic, to get from our elementary school to home. And I remember me and my older sibling got back into the car with parent B, and it was the longest drive home ever. And I remember in my little mind, I was just praying that we would never make it home, because whatever was waiting for us when we got there with this parent, it was over. And it didn't even matter if I was the one in trouble, it was over. All I can say is that day in that household, there was fire on the mountain. No, I can't. So apparently, my older sibling, we'll just say that most likely is undiagnosed neurodivergent. But unfortunately, in the early 2000s, teachers unfortunately didn't see this. They don't see a Black student that possibly has attention issues or anything like that as like ADHD or ADD or any of the stuff that if a counter white student would have done would have made like, oh, they're probably just ADHD or whatever. No, they just saw that my older sibling was just being like disruptive in class all the time. So my older sibling's teacher would always be giving my older sibling these behavioral slips. Take this behavioral slip back home to your parents and have them sign it. Sure, yeah, my other sibling would be like, of course, I will take it home to my parents and have them sign it. And then the next day, my older sibling would bring back that slip and give it to the teacher, and then carry on with, unfortunately, the disruptive behavior that my older sibling was doing in class. Now, the thing is, my older sibling had racked up enough of these behavioral slips, and the teacher starts to think, like, this isn't making any sense. I'm sending home these behavioral slips, but the behavior is not changing. Well, okay, so this woman decided to wait until parent-teacher conferences night, the teacher. So parent-teacher conferences night come, my older sibling is there, my parent A is there, and they're sitting with the teacher, and the teacher is like, yeah, so did you happen to see any of these slips that I sent home? Parent A looks at these slips and says, I've never once in my life seen any of these slips. You can imagine the brick my older sibling shat in that moment. Are you stupid? It was over. Now the thing is, this was one too many offenses, unfortunately, for my older sibling. And my parents, not really wanting to, parent, decided that my older sibling was gonna be somebody else's problem. Oh dear God. So yes, it was decided that my older sibling would be going to Nigeria. Wait, you said that your older sibling and your younger sibling went to Nigeria. So when it came to my younger sibling, it was honestly just my younger sibling trying to explain to my parents, hey, I'm a little bit anxious about going to school. Now the thing is, with my younger sibling at that point in time was basically like didn't really go to preschool, didn't really go to like daycare or anything, because our grandmother was the one watching my younger sibling. Like, I remember there would be days me and my older sibling would come home from school and my younger sibling would have toys all over the living room watching VeggieTales, having the time of their life. They're just enjoying, having a great time. When they found out they had to go to school, they were just like, school? What's that? I'm not trying to go there. So of course, rather than actually sit with my younger sibling, trying to understand what their fears are and trying to like speak with them, they were just kind of like, nah, you're gonna be somebody else's problem too. So that's why my younger sibling would end up going to Nigeria. It was quite heartbreaking. I remember, okay, so something significant to me specifically. I remember I had a friend in my second grade classroom. Her birthday was in February, January, I don't remember. Maybe end of February, maybe end of January. All I know is it was the following year. And I was like, oh, to parent B, hey, can you take me to my friend's birthday party? Parent B goes, yeah, of course. When is your friend's birthday party? Oh, it's on so-and-so date. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't take you. I'm gonna be we're gonna be in Nigeria. Awesome. So I'm the one who has to suffer. But no, I would eventually realize the gravity of things, because I remember the day in the airport when half of my family was literally leaving to go to Nigeria. Actually not half, my entire family was leaving to go to Nigeria, and I was left here with my grandmother. And I just remember it was just heartbreaking for us kids because I don't know, like, I feel like in that moment, that's when like we really didn't get to really develop a good sibling bond because half the time my siblings weren't ever really with me. I remember my older sibling, as kind as they often, not a lot, but they could be kind sometimes, had said that they had left a surprise for me. And I remember as soon as I got back home, I run up to their room and I open the door and I see that they've left me a little note that basically just said that they were gonna miss me. And I was gonna miss them because they're my siblings. Why wouldn't I care about them? I remember during this time frame, like my siblings, my parents would tell me that my parents would tell me that this was a time period where like I was just incredibly sad all the time. And I'd like to think that, yeah, this is probably the first time in my life I was ever like heavily depressed, because like they would like cook food and they'd be like, okay, come and eat or whatever. And I'd come to like the dining room and I'd sit down and they'd put the food in front of me and I'd look at the food and I'd just start bawling my eyes out because I'd be like, there's nobody here to sit with me. And I remember during this time frame, like my parents, like they were just kind of scared with how sad I was. So they literally just spoiled me and gave me everything. I'd be like, I want to go to a sleepover at somebody's house. They'd be like, sure, I want candy, sure. Like, I remember I was treated well. I will say, I was treated, I got everything I wanted. I was still afraid of my parents, obviously, but I got everything I wanted when I asked for it. Like, it's honestly shocking. You're probably wondering, okay, yeah, so like, you didn't tell us, why did you not end up going to Nigeria? So here's the thing. You can probably guess by now, but unfortunately, I was the favorite child at this point in time. And now I'm the villain of the family, so you know, that pipeline is crazy. But yeah, no, I was the favorite child. And let's just say being the favorite child of African immigrant parents, especially the type of African immigrant parents that I had, it's not the best. It's really not. Being the favorite child is... Because you're probably thinking, oh, if you're the favorite child and they gave you everything. Like, yeah, that was when my siblings were gone and they didn't really know what to do rather than actually talk to me. When my siblings came back, yeah, I was their favorite punching bag. So keep that in mind. And like, the other thing was, the thing is, I have an autoimmune disease that and at the time I did not know this. So my parents may have considered, there's a possibility they may have considered sending all of us back to Nigeria. But then they looked at me and was like, yeah, but the health condition of this child, maybe we shouldn't do that. So that might have been another contributing factor as to why I wasn't sent to Nigeria. So that is the main two I have. I don't have any other like concrete reason, but those are the only two that I was able to like piece together at a certain point. But yeah. So there is a unique aspect of the story that's why I wanted to tell this on my channel. So like, I remember my parents would eventually come back after leaving my siblings with my auntie and uncle in Nigeria. And well, life carried on. I would go to school and I'd come back from school. I'm still in the 2nd grade. And students from my older siblings' classroom would come by and bring me their homework, my older siblings' homework. They would be like, yeah, we hope they get better. Hopefully we will see them back in school soon. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I'd open the door, take the homework from them, shut the door. And I'd be like, I guess when they come back from Nigeria, they can finish this I guess when they come back, that's when they can finish it because... But yeah, eventually though, maybe around like end of March, early April or so, the school was like, where is this kid? Where are they? So one day I'm in 2nd grade classroom. If I'm not reading Garfield books or reading joke books, I was probably like doing puzzles. I don't really remember what we did in 2nd grade besides like, did we even really do anything? But anyway, I'm called down to the principal's office. Now, I'm not gonna say I never got in trouble because I definitely got in trouble. I definitely made mistakes, but it was just not common for me to go to the principal's office. We'll just say that for now. So I go down to the principal's office and they're like, yeah, the nurse wants to speak with you. And I'm like, the nurse? Why does the nurse want to speak with me? I'm not sick. So I go into the nurse's office and this is how the conversation went. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? I'm good. That's good. So, we noticed that your older sibling's not really coming to school. Is everything okay? Oh, yeah, everything's okay. They're in Nigeria. Oh, I see. But everything's okay at home? Yeah, everything's okay at home. My older sibling's just in Nigeria. Okay, thank you for telling me. You can go back to class. The reason I laugh is because my African parents forgot to tell the school that they were going to be unenrolling their child. So you can imagine the school is probably like, we haven't seen this kid. This kid is probably chained to the cellar somewhere. Like, where are they at? My African parents had neglected to unenroll the child from school. And I just think that's hilarious that my parents are just like, you're going to Nigeria. Boom. And then it was like, that's it. And when I think about it, I'm really like, that's crazy. That's crazy, because that's crazy. But yeah, my other sibling would be in Nigeria up until like, they would come back maybe when they were in, was it 9th grade? Yeah, they would come back in the 9th grade. And let's just say it didn't even do shit. Like, my parents were like, yeah, everything in Nigeria is gonna shaping you up and all this stuff. But like, again, not realizing that their child was developing, like they just kind of like severed a lot of growth aspects and just, yeah, it was a whole thing. There's no real lesson to the story. It was just kind of funny, I guess. But like, if I were to give one, it would probably be like, African parents, when you come to this country, I totally get it. You don't have time really to, well, parent. But that's the problem. Like, rather than actually probably sit down with my older sibling and try and figure out what's going on, maybe we have to get this kid diagnosed, all this stuff, you're kind of just like, you're not listening, you're being a trouble, you're just being trouble at school, go to Nigeria. Like, that's just a short-term solution for a longer-term problem. Because now, not only is this child just like neurodivergent and probably just needs like the proper medication or a proper routine or a proper schedule or a way to like get out their energy, a way to encourage them, a way to understand them, all this stuff. Now you've added abandonment wounds on top of it. Like, no, that's actually messed up. Oh, I don't think I've ever actually, wow. That's, ooh. So, immigrant parents, if you're going to have children, parents, maybe make sure that you are able to actually devote time and attention to those children. Don't just have children and then pass them on and let them be somebody else's problem. If somehow, some way, like your child, like, I mean, it's different if you give your child everything and then they still turn up a mess, because then like, okay, yeah, you tried, you genuinely tried. You gave them time, effort, energy, love, you supported them, you loved them, like all this stuff. But if you don't do any of that and the child doesn't turn out well, who is there really to blame? You see what I'm saying? But yeah, no, that was just basically the canon event of how my older sibling and my younger sibling went to Nigeria. My younger sibling would come back maybe around after 2 years, 1 year. I don't fully remember. I just know they were gone for a long period of time. But yeah, they would come back and yeah, it was quite an experience. Yeah. During that time frame, I just remember I cried a lot. I was sad a lot because I was just like, the two most meaningful people in my life are gone, so now I can't stand them at all. I mean, but anyway, all right, thank you for watching. This one is just an easygoing one, not reflective or anything, just a funny story with maybe don't abandon your children lesson at the end. And with no script. I did it with no script. Yay. All right, so tune in next time for the next video. Same time, same place. What? I will say, this time around, I was less nervous. Like, I was just like, let's just get into it. Yeah, like I didn't really sweat, nothing. Like okay, I'm sweating now, but Cut the camera. Cut the camera.